ESPN broadcast reveals Caitlin Clark and Flau'Jae Johnson's secret as fans call out LSU stars per performance. The undefeated season for LSU is officially over, leaving UCLA as the last unblemished team standing in NCAAW. While the final score, 66-56, against South Carolina might look close, the Gamecocks controlled the game from start to finish, marking their 17th consecutive win over the Tigers. LSU head coach Kim Mulkey pinned the loss on turnovers. But another big issue has to be their leading scorer Flau'Jae Johnson, not showing up like she usually does. LSU started off strong, hitting 12 of 24 from the field, but things went ice-cold fast. They managed just one bucket in 11 attempts in the second. Johnson, who scored 11 points in the first half, completely fell off after the break, adding just 2 points to her tally in the second half. Shooting 6 of 18 overall and 1 for 4 from deep, this was miles away from her season averages of 20 points and 15-plus attempts. And then, just when LSU's loss seemed inevitable, ESPN's Holly Rowe dropped an interesting tidbit. She's, Johnson, been working a lot in the offseason with some high-profile training partners. Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers. She said she's learning a lot from Caitlin, she announced. And for a player training alongside Caitlin Clark, known for her perfect threes and playmaking, it was a stark contrast. Also, the broadcaster added that the Big Four has especially learned to play fast but reading the defense slowly from the 2024 roadie. Rowe was definitely impressed, adding, "I love that she's seeking out some of the very best in the game to sharpen her skills." Then Rebecca Lobo jumped in with some fun commentary, imagining a 3-on-3 team of Paige, Caitlin, and Flau'Jae. However, fans couldn't help but notice that despite all the work, the guard had a quiet outing. Fans aren't letting Johnson's struggles slide after her training with Caitlin Clark comes to light. The first one was quite blunt, saying, "She didn't learn shit, then rolling on the floor laughing. The junior just shot 1 out of 3 from three-point range, which is just 25%. We all know that long-range shooting is Caitlin Clark's specialty, so when LSU star couldn't quite get it going from deep, fans couldn't help but call it out. But honestly, it was just a bad night, as Flau'Jae's usually shooting about 33% from 3 this season, so she's definitely better than what we saw on the court against South Carolina." Another added, "Why did she say this when LSU was about to lose?" The training news dropped right as LSU was on the verge of losing, and the timing couldn't have been more awful. The team was clearly struggling, and it couldn't have been a worse moment to highlight her off-season work. Another chimed in saying, "She has been so bad tonight. No sugarcoating this one. Big Four just wasn't herself." She ended up shooting just 33.3% from the field, which was her worst performance this season. For someone who's usually knocking down shots at a rate above 38%, this was definitely a tough night for her. A fourth added to the string. Flau'Jae Johnson v. South Carolina, LSU's best player since Simone Augustus? Augustus, before becoming an assistant coach at LSU, had one of the greatest careers in LSU history, and Johnson has certainly formed a strong bond with her. But fans have big doubts about whether the Lady Tigers guard truly embodies the same energy. But all were not pointing fingers, some did defend LSU's 4. "She's still developing, give her time," wrote a fan. This supporter was quick to remind everyone she was still growing. It's a tough balancing act, being the team's top scorer while also managing her rising career in music. It's a lot, but she's handling it. Not to forget, this was a tough matchup against a team like South Carolina, which boasts 10 McDonald's All-Americans. LSU's still one of the top teams in the country, even with this loss. They've only got one in the bag. While Johnson will hopefully continue to rise and bounce back in her next game, these off-season training sessions with the best will surely help her perfect her game. We just hope this falling short thing doesn't keep happening, because we all know she's capable of so much more.